So, Bitcoin. Nice move. But it will be short-lived. You're probably not happy to hear that, but it will be short-lived. Why? You've got effectively trade war. NASDAQ narrowly missed heading into corrective territory, which means correction mode, which means markdown, which means things are going to get a whole lot cheaper. So if you've made money on this pump, please take something off the table. Canada's saying we're going to do everything that we can with these tariffs. We're also going to be putting tariffs on people. A Canadian electricity supplier that supplies 1.5 million homes in Minnesota is going to be putting tariffs onto those people. So the people are going to suffer. But Trump wants the king dollar, and your dollar ain't looking too good, with the euro making a 1% plus significant move. Quite frankly, it's the unwind of the carry trade. That's what's going on. They're all covering it up with the idea that this defense budget that's going into the euro is fueling euro bets. Nah, ladies and gentlemen, sorry. That's the carry trade unwind. And it's going to be interesting this evening because we've got Trump speaking, of course, and then, well, we had him speaking, and then you've got Bank of Japan, Ueda, who is going to be speaking. It's going to be very interesting to see how they're going to react to these tariffs, because one way or another, they're going to be impacted by it. So what we're going to do in this live, guys, going to break it all down for you and tell you exactly what you need to know. So if you are new, welcome, welcome. Tino Babyface, here we go again. It'd be great to hear some optimism. No shade, but damn, this sucks. My friend, you know what? You can't come to the markets with optimism or pessimism. You can't. You just got to see what you see and trade it. All right? If there is, you've got to look at it in terms of money moving. All right? You can't be excited if money's moving over to the dollar. You can't be excited if money's moving over to the euro. What you got to get yourself aligned with is, okay, it's doing that. Let me react to it. You know, well, let me explain something. How excited do you get when you drive? After you've been doing it for so long, the desire for driving tends to go out the window, all right? Trading is exactly the same. It has to be mechanical. Oh, money's going over to the euro, the yen is moving up, and the dollar's going down. Maybe it's the carry trade. I'm going to be favoring yen and euro assets. So, yeah, it's one of them ones. So, let's get with the program, ladies and gentlemen. Break it all down. Starting it off with 32,907 traders have been liquidated. Oof, it's very unfortunate. But guys, hold on. The crypto summit. We've seen clear as day that anytime Trump mentions crypto, it drops. Well, it pumps, then it drops. So Trump's doing a good job of playing the buy the rumor, sell the news kind of story. All right. Now, Michael Saylor is being invited, has been invited to this. If you scroll down, you see he says here that I've been invited to the Digital Assets Summit at the White House this Friday, hosted by the president. And then you got Brian Armstrong saying, just keep it as Bitcoin. Don't introduce Ethereum, Solana, or ADA, XRP, whatever. You know, just keep it Bitcoin. That's what we really favor right now. So they're already trying to get you off the idea of Ethereum and Solana and XRP. Why are you saying that, bro? You know? Says here that Armstrong said just Bitcoin in the US Crypto Strategic Reserve would probably be the best option. And then you've got Michael Saylor, who I'd be interested to see if he is going to actually have a conversation there, but I very think it's much unlikely. Tino, what do you need when trading is too stressful and it turns you into alcoholism? Livermore? Oh, God. You know what? Trading has pushed me to some boundaries before, right? Like real boundaries where I lost a significant amount of money one night and I just literally lost it. So I went into this shop and I just said, just give me the strongest bit of alcohol you got. And he just gives me a Bell's bottle of whiskey. I was like, I'll take that, sir. Thank you very much. Took the bottle of whiskey and then I went and sat at a bus stop and I started just knocking this bottle back. And I was saying to myself, why did you do that? Why did you do that? Why did you do that? And after that event, that's when I realized what a waste man thing to do. Hitting the bottle doesn't do anything for you. Okay. So it's one of those ones where I said to myself, you know what? we need to step up. So what did I do? I didn't finish the bottle. I got back into the lab and started to break it all down and understand my psychology. All right. Don't get twisted. We have good days. We have bad days. But fundamentally, trading does push you. Okay. And I drive past that bus stop all the time. I look at it and I'm like, damn, man, that was a bad time. But the money I lost to create that situation was actually way less than what I've lost before. So something's obviously clicking in my brain with it. Bitcoin. Nice little move to the upside, ladies and gentlemen. Saw that drop down to only see it come back up. Sweep of the Asian session range. Fine. Okay. And now it's come back to the 800 EMA. It's come back into red vector candles. The fast move is the false move. Okay. This is not a move that's consistent with buying of Bitcoin. $95 million worth of inflows. They broke the 8-day streak, and $95 million is not going to get Bitcoin making a move to the upside. We've had $450 million worth of inflows, and cryptocurrency slumped. So it doesn't make sense that the math would say that $95 million would send Bitcoin's price up. What does it tell you? It tells you that the guys have quickly tried to offer out and take advantage of as much selling of Bitcoin as possible on the move to the upside. The problem is you've got this stack of liquidity down here that is going to be a problem for us. And going into the calendar this evening, we do have some very interesting bouts of data. So going into tonight, we've got Bank of Japan Governor Ueda speaking, okay? And Trump's going to be speaking at 9 p.m. Supposedly, it's going to be speaking at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then tomorrow, you got the ADP non-farm employment change, followed by the ISM services, okay? Now, we've had some Fed speakers come out today talking shit, and they haven't really mentioned much. They're like, yeah, we're in line with our 2% target, and the economy is doing great. What are you talking about, man? Your economy is not doing great. Look, you're about to enter into the wildest realm of inflationary pressures. Canada, China, Russia, Ukraine, euro, and all of that stuff. Like, there's absolute madness going off right now. I mean, look at the euro, 1.27%. That never happens with the euro. Never. That's a carry trade unwind. They are unwinding the carry. Look at the Japanese yen, up 0.5%. Okay. Now, the euro is up because of that defense spending mechanism. I mean, the gold itself is getting ready to make that move even higher. Like, we're going into all-time highs with gold. The hedge is coming into play, and they're getting themselves ready for war jitters and trade jitters and all that madness. Dollar yen is trying to make a move to the upside again. That's going to be impacting the yen. And then we're going into Aussie yen itself. That's starting to make a move to the upside. Platinum members, if you know what we're talking about with that, then you'll know. And then anyways, moving on from that, going into the NASDAQ, you can see it's been a treacherous day. Stop runs up and down, absolutely madness. Going into the 10-year bonds market, they are down, which is quite worrying to say the least. But the yields, the Japanese yen is up, and the 10-year yield on the Japanese yen is still trading at 1.4. 10-year bonds on the Japanese yen still at 98, so no activity. The 10-year futures markets are coming down as well. And that's only because the stock market is moving up right now, and the volatility index is trading at those significant levels. You notice they come back into the violet vector candle recovery over here, which is what's created this move to the upside coming into play after they've swept that whole range. But then we've got another area here, which could be an interesting point for the VIX later on in the future. Okay, so it must have been a lightweight, most definitely. Any questions, guys? Yeah, that's the problem. I agree with you there, bro. Sucks in a society where you have to act dumb to get everybody's attention, and talking smart just makes everybody think you're a know-it-all. Yeah, well, that's the way the game works, man. That's exactly what it is. Like, do we know it all? No, we do not. We don't know nothing. We know nothing, quite frankly. TR indicator looks so clean. Mine does not. Do you have a video on how to clean it up a bit? Yes, there is a video in the channel talking about the hybrid system. My indicator is clean, but quite frankly, the things that mess it up are the moving averages. Do I need the moving averages? No. And I just like to focus on vector candles at best of times, especially when I'm trading. But you know, when you're starting off with the hybrid system, it helps to understand the moving averages, because when you get fanned out behavior like this, makes things really interesting. Anyways. Any other questions, guys? Because I want to keep this live short and sweet. There's nothing really to report, guys. Everyone is waiting for this crypto summit. But of course, trade war, all the tariff stories, it's the same thing over and over again. I will say to you, just be very mindful because Banker Governor Ueda's going to be speaking tonight, and he's going to give us his logic on where they are with their interest rates. They are talking about hiking, so it's going to be very interesting to see. What's this? Which websites would you recommend to learn about macroeconomics, bonds, and stuff just like you do? Let me explain something to you. You can read economic books on the bonds. I've read derivatives books that are about this thick, okay? I've read so many books, investment portfolio books. They're about that thick, okay? You paid £180 for this thick book, and I've got about 7 of them when I was studying, okay? So we've read all those books. What do they give you? They don't give you anything. They just tell you the mechanisms of what a derivative is, of what investment portfolio management is when you're allocating risk, distribution of capital from one asset to another in terms of sectors, currency trades, carry trades, and all of that stuff, all right? I'm just telling you what I've read. Doesn't make me smart. It just tells you, I just recall information and relay it over to you guys, all right? But the books that you would want to read, well, the main book that you want to read is right in front of you. This is a book, okay? But there is a little bit of understanding that you need, okay? First things first, Matthias, you're a platinum member, so you know to, oh God, in the PDF library, there is a checklist which speaks about breaking down the macros. All right. Go and check that out, bruv, because everything about the macros is in that, things that you need to be aware of. But when you want to understand macros on a bigger picture, you've got to pay attention to the fact that we work in dollars, and dollars are impacted by what? They're impacted by interest rates. Everybody works on interest rates. Look at this. In front of you is the actual CME, not the Fed watch. Oh, it's gone up again. Huh, fair enough. So this is the implied rate swap monitor, okay? Look what you're getting on the euro. This has been going up and it's been creeping up, and there's a range of around 1.88%. Guys are coming in and locking in yield on the euro, okay? I believe we're going on the carry trade unwind. That's why the euro will continue to go higher. The yen will continue to go higher. The bonds will still continue to go higher. And the assets and markets, crypto markets will come back down again. Sorry if you don't like to hear that, all right? I'm not going to paint you a rosy picture because you just want to hear good news about it so your portfolio can withstand the drawdown. No, you need to understand the terms and conditions of this game. Back to the question, Matthias. The idea is when you focus on the 10-year bonds market, this represents low risk and, of course, high risk. Why? If it's coming down, investors are effectively either taking profits and they're effectively not enticed to buy bonds because they want a higher yield. When this goes down, the yields go up. Okay? When the yields go up, that's bad news for the stock market. Okay? So that's the first thing you need to be mindful of. Where are you in terms of the bonds market? If the bonds are going down and the stock market's going up, investors are favoring higher risk, okay? If the bonds market's going down and the stock market's going down, it means investors are not going to commit to to fixed income securities, or should I say low risk investments, right? They prefer to sit in currencies as safe havens, such as the yen and such as the dollar, okay? So once you understand that behavior, because you can read a book about it, but you're going to get the best impression of it when you are watching it on the chart. Bonds down, stock market up. What does that tell you? It tells you that investors are favoring what? They're favoring high risk. They obviously receive some good information and they're like, okay, you know what? Let's go long and buy everything that's coming into play. Maybe because the volatility index has priced in the idea that we are going into the pan, okay? But the stock market has narrowly missed a corrective mode. But this is a drop. This is a retrace. And now we could potentially see the continuation to the downside. That's all going to be based on what happens with the labor market. Okay, and all the data that comes out. And of course, if Trump decides to say, you know what, let's slap a bit more of a tariff on X, Y, and Z. Now, remember, we don't know what the impact is going to be like with these tariffs. We're going to see that coming into play. Did he not say earlier on that you won't be paying any taxes and you'll have all this money in your pocket, but everything's going to get marked up by 200% in principle? So yeah, I saw that comment. But yeah. So if you think interest rates are going up, it means my trade idea to front run it, you have been profitable. If you, huh? Oh, did you exploit it? You should have done it, Priest. You should have done it. Tina, you said fast move is the false move. The collected NERL, every green vector on the way up. Right now, they're respecting the 15-minute green vector candle below, possibly more to the upside. There is a possibility Bitcoin can go up, okay? It is moving up quite well, and this is just the offers coming in. Look, there's just a few offers. There's nothing really happening. Where's that big offer up there of 30 million to sell Bitcoin? Oh, there it is. There you go. 93,000. It's there. So it got removed and got placed. Oh, it's actually been taken off a little bit. Okay. But you've got this here. There's too much commitment here. So like we saw, this move up, it's going to come back down. That's what could happen. The only way, all right, and before I get the people that are like, this guy was saying it was going to come down and it never came down. F this guy. Listen, all right? You've got red vector candles up here. Possibly Bitcoin could take those ranges, all right? There's no two ways about it. It could actually continue higher. Maybe they could front run price all the way up to the crypto summit. Donald Trump says, buy Bitcoin, and Bitcoin shits the bed, because that's what happens, okay? So there is that possibility. But look at Bitcoin on the daily time frame. You're just about trying to make it with this touch of the 200 EMA. That's what we were talking about yesterday. It's very important that it can hold this, okay? Now, if you take the midpoint of this candlestick from yesterday's drop, we really need to see Bitcoin closing above 89,000 to say, okay, we do stand a chance at showing support at this point, okay? But the problem is the news itself is going to impact Bitcoin's movement up and down, all right? And that's the issue you've got. If it's good news for 10 minutes, Bitcoin pumps. If it's bad news the next day, it will drop, and you've got to accept that. Do I think Bitcoin is still getting ready to go down? I do believe it could roll over, because the bigger picture of the macros has yet to be fully priced in, all right? We don't know where we are with the interest rates right now with the Federal Reserve, and investors are like humming and ahhing based on the conversations from previous speakers. They're asking themselves, what is the Fed actually going to do now that we've got things that can impact inflation? Well, they'll turn around and say we need more data. There you go. Back to it. You know? Anything else? Tonight he'll talk about crypto. This move is prepared for it. Listen, if it goes in, the U.S. Commerce Secretary Lutnick says Trump may roll back Canada and Mexico tariffs tomorrow. Wow. Wow. The greatest bluff. The greatest bluff. Can you believe that? Tina, have you done high leverage trading on the 1 minute time frame once, and the 5 and the 13 EMA cross over the 50 EMA? I've noticed it seems to be very consistent for small price swings and high leverage to scalp. Yeah, done that many a times. Which scenario Bitcoin will approach 100K from here? In order for Bitcoin to get to 100K, you need to break 94, which is up here. You need to break 94. And to get to 100K, it might sound crazy saying this, guys, okay? But unless Bitcoin closes above the 50 EMA on the daily time frame, there's no point in even running longs on Bitcoin. You might be able to exploit Bitcoin from here to the 50 EMA. That's effectively about 8-9 grand move, hypothetically. You could see it go even to 96, okay? But if it can't get above that 50 EMA, then it's just a retrace continuation back down. You've got to take that into consideration, okay? Yeah, he may roll back the tariffs. Do you know what? I don't understand why he will roll back the tariffs. Doesn't make sense. After all that time, blagging on about the tariffs, and now he's saying that he's going to roll it back. I don't know, man. Do I trust it? That's the question. Here we go. So I'm just looking at some of these articles. Trump may roll back Canada and Mexico tariffs tomorrow. Okay, so this is what could be it. Trump is to move with Canada and Mexico, but not all the way. Very weird. Yeah, look, Nick, Trump may roll back Canada and Mexico tariffs tomorrow, considering relief for USMCA compliant goods. That would be very interesting if he did that. If he does do that. If he does do that, okay, then Bitcoin could shoot up. It really could. The market will like that. But it doesn't remove the idea of inflation, okay? So you've got to take that into consideration. Very interesting. BlackRock just brought 2 ports in the Panama Canal, okay? Yo, T, can you break down the block trade strategy for the viewers? I think they can benefit from it like I did today in the Platinum group. I dropped an explanation there. So the block trade principle is based on the idea that you're trading vector candles, okay? Here is a block. This is on the daily time frame block. And then when you go into smaller time frames, you've got other blocks as well, okay? So the block is based off the idea of the market's memory, okay? So you're trading the idea that you expect, the market to repeat the same behavior. And if it doesn't repeat the same behavior, then the idea is that it's going to do the opposite, right? So here is an example. You see this violet vector candle? There's a block right there. That's a block. The logic says that if price can sustain itself within this block region, so say hypothetically it's coming into here, right? And these guys were previously buying Bitcoin, the logic says that if they can sustain price and continue higher, they'll go back up and break away from that point, which is effectively these guys making a profit. You can see now Bitcoin has made its way towards this red vector candle region right here. So it's now testing another block. The logic would say that as long as they can sustain this area right here, underneath that 87,145, then this candlestick needs to break through that point. But you've got to be careful because there's a midpoint of this vector candle right here where price seems to be rejecting from it. So you've got to say to yourself, could the guys that go long at this point right here want to try and go long again from this point, which means Bitcoin in principle could then come back down, consolidate, and then as it tries to find its feet and break through that block range again, price should then make the recovery back up. That's the block trade principle. Okay. What do you think about the crypto summit on Friday? I feel like we'll all get a drop in Bitcoin if investors hear literally anything they don't like. No, because anything that's good about cryptocurrency leads to it dropping. Like, look what happened at the weekend. Yeah, you got yourself a cryptocurrency reserve. Didn't make sense. That was the biggest endorsement. That's the best thing that you could have. They may have been buying it up from the smart money perspective and people getting their bids, which tells me that this area here, this is a problem for me. I don't like this. I'm just saying to you, be mindful. There's a reason why there is a massive clusterfuck of orders right here that are pretty much getting ready to be taken. So just be mindful. The fast move is the false move. They keep pumping it, then fine. Take your profits accordingly. But unless these guys remove their liquidity and move it closer to price, because I ain't seeing them do that yet. Look, you're not really seeing commitment. Yeah, you got 14 million, 5 million, 22 million right there. But then we go down below, you've got all this madness down here. Look at all this, like 40 million. That's a lot of money that can transact on Bitcoin, okay? So take that into consideration. Tina, any chance of connecting on a call or chat sometime? Would be willing to pay you handsomely for your time? No, you don't need to do that, bro. It's just sitting me down and having that call, man. You know. How many candles above the 50 EMA should be held on the daily time frame to continue this momentum towards the 100K? Above the 50 EMA on the 1 hour time frame, well, it's for the short-term trader, for the higher time frame traders. Look, this is just a blip. This one move up is a blip. Now, if it is going to sustain itself, they just need to keep moving away from it. Okay, they have to keep moving away. All right. So you can see what the market's about. It's very. Never mind. Anything else, guys? Tino said yesterday we need 3 consecutive days closing above the 50 EMA to be sure it goes up. That's the answer to the question. 50 EMA on the daily time frame. You don't get 3 consecutive days closing above the 50 EMA. So the idea is this, just to put it into perspective for you, okay? 50 EMA, Bitcoin stays in this price action range, right? 50 EMA will start doing this, right? Price action will start doing this. Okay? It will bring it closer towards price. That tells you volatility is not coming into play. When you see price effectively getting a back up above the 50 EMA, like from here, that's when you pay attention. Because what you've got is you've got Bitcoin flatlining. The 200 EMA will be hit over here. And then you've got the idea of the golden cross or the death cross and all that fun and games, okay? You'll then see a candlestick closing above the 50 EMA. That's a trigger to buy, okay? When you see the moving averages flat, what you wait for is the test above it, let them break away from it, let them come back into it, okay? That come back into it will effectively lead you into the move to the upside because you'd want to see support coming into play from that point. However, look at where we are now. Hypothetically, if one candlestick sends Bitcoin up to the 50 EMA, the 50 EMA on the daily time frame is not going to move fast enough, but Bitcoin's price action does. So if you see Bitcoin from this point mark up towards the 50 EMA, you have to wait. The next candle will confirm if that's going to be the case, that the move to the 50 EMA is valid. It gets above it, and then the third candle closes above the 50 EMA, hypothetically. You've got yourself the logic that there's a possibility Bitcoin's going to continue up from that point because the 50 EMA hasn't moved. Look at this. Look at this drop to the downside. 1, 2, 3, nearly 4 days of dropping, yeah? The 50 EMA didn't move. But then you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, all these candlesticks. And now there's curvature on the 50 EMA to go down. Because going into last week on 20th of February, Bitcoin was flatlined at the moving averages. And we said, wait until you see price closing above the 50 EMA, 3 daily candles. Do not buy. Don't buy. Gave you the heads up. Do not buy Bitcoin. I was saying it at this point. If you bought it, never mind. And then it came back up and you'd be like, oh, that was close. And then it came back down again. Now we're back to the same shit here. Any questions? NASDAQ price action. You know what? NASDAQ price action has been very hard lately. Honestly, it's been so bloody difficult just to read it. Playing certain positions for every move up brings it down, then a fast move up again. It's been an absolute shit show. Anyways, Tina, have you considered electrolysis as treatment for your bearishness? Oh my days. You guys, man, you guys run some funny stuff. This could be a W format. When altcoin season? My bonsai tree is all good. Tina, explain ETH once on the daily time frame. I got you. Ethereum, daily time frame. Oh, they took the night. Oh, they took it today. Oh, fair enough. Yeah. That's my price target for Ethereum. 1746, 1665. Please excuse Tino. XRP has ruined him. No, XRP hasn't ruined me. He's in the same bloody spot, man. Flipping. Have a day off, XRP. Honestly, what are you doing? Dominance, where you at? Yeah, you're going to 64. Just sit tight, guys. It'll go to 64. Tell us about global liquidity. Where does it stand now and what is expected? Right. Okay. The gentleman wants global liquidity. You want to know where global liquidity is? Let me show you. See, we could look at this one, but we really need to look at the M2 money supply. Yeah, it's money supply chart I need. Okay. What are you doing, man? So let's just get rid of this, right? The M2 supply for 4 major central banks, the US year on year, right? That's coming down ever so slightly. An M2 4 major supply, central banks, fixed exchange rates. All right, so just 4 major banks, okay? So at pretty even levels. What you need to watch, rather than the money supply, okay, you need to look at the yields and focus on the spreads between the 10-year yields, okay? Look at the spread difference between the 2-year and the 10-year, okay? That is quite a significant amount, right? When the spreads start to widen, it means there's a liquidity issue. That's why everyone's banging on about the idea of when the interest rates are going to get cut. Maybe Trump's doing this to force the Federal Reserve to cut the interest rates at running the risk of continuously expanding on inflation. But when you've got spread between the yields, liquidity's not that good. 4.2 on the 10-year, and then you've got effectively 3.98 on the 2-year. That's a wide spread. No, thank you. Something's brewing. Just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense how you can have such a wide spread on the 2-year and the 10-year. They're usually very close to each other, okay? When the spreads are tight, it means consistency. There's liquidity. There's money being moved, okay? It's available. But when the spread is wide, it's like, hold on a second, I'm not going to be playing this game. Because you do know market makers, or should I say non-bankers, are not obliged to supply liquidity. See, it's all back to the yields again. This is the reason why people put money to work. The yield. They don't care about your Bitcoin. They don't give a shit about anything else. They care about yield. You want to know what the markets are doing? You go over to this chart right here. There you go. That's all you need from a fundamental perspective. All right. Forget your stop runs and your retraces, continuations. No, it starts from here. This chart here is, okay, so I've got $100 million. Okay. Now walk into the chart and I'm like, boys, what are we going to do with our dollars today, man? Or our pounds? What are we going to do? What's Euro saying? Well, Euro's showing that over 13 days, we can lock in an implied differential rate of 1.78. Quite frankly, it's going to be less at 1.6 after fees. Should we take that risk on for 13 days? Come on, then, let's do it. So then what happens is the Euro ends up pumping up because people are exchanging dollars for Euro. Euro moves up. Okay. The same thing is coming into play with the Japanese yen. All right. Now you look at Bitcoin and you base it all off blockchain analytics. The whales are moving. Why the fuck are the whales moving in the first place? Yields. Yields, yields, yields. What is my yield? And when you have a good idea about how to answer that question, you might be onto something with the marketplace. That's the truth. Tino, are there any websites or apps you pay for to help with macro analytics? Do you know what? I think I pay $300 for one website, $150 for another. I paid a lump sum of nearly £1,500 for one other website. Do I use them? Nah. That's the mad thing, isn't it? I pay for the service, but I don't use it. Why? Because whatever it is they say, I look at the chart and I'll be like, that's where my information is. If I have an understanding, just go and Google what the 10-year yield is and the 2-year yield. And then go ask ChatGPT. Can you highlight for me the key differences between when the 10-year yield and the 2-year yield, if there is a wide spread? What does that mean? And then ask it another question. When the 2-year yield goes up against the and the bonds go down, what does that mean? And then ChatGPT will start throwing loads of things at you, and you just need to pick that information. You don't need to go and buy a £150 book. Go and use ChatGPT. Go and use Google. Ask it the question. That's where you'll be able to understand it. But it will then say to you, go to the charts and have a look at X, Y, and Z. And you're only going to learn about how it moves when you come to the charts and watch it move. You know, it's like that old saying with the lecturer. He said to all his students, go out and give me everything you know about goldfish. And everyone went out, they bought the books, they came back and they presented this amazing story about goldfishes. And he said, out of all of you, none of you actually came down to look at the fish in my fish tank, which is a goldfish, and none of you took it home to study it. This is the same story. Study the markets, study the charts, watch them. Because then you're going to be seeing the economic theories coming into play. It doesn't always work that way, but welcome to the realm of uncertainty. That's what it is. You know? What's with the gay shirt Tino? Huh? Bro, why are you asking dead questions like that, man? It's a t-shirt, man. You know, if you want to look at clothes, go to some fashion channel, man. Like, why are you here, my bro? Anyways. Where's smart money, dumb money right now? I'll show you. How many of you like the stream? 320 of you. That's lovely. Thank you very much for that, guys. Here's your smart money, dumb money chart. Smart money selling. Sorry, they're buying. Smart money's buying. Retail selling. That's where we are. Any other questions? I've studied and slept on the charts for almost 2 years. I have 3 years university majoring geopolitics and finances, and I'm currently studying macros. Well done, Angelique. Mad love to you. Are we entering to the bear market if the daily time frame candle break below 76,500 and closes there? Bro, you're going to wait for 76,500 for that to determine a bear market? Nah, man. No, I'd say if Bitcoin does close below the 200 EMA, then you're heading into bear market categories. You know, that's what I'm thinking. Tino, TradingView AI indicator. Have you tried it out? Oh God, no. Tino, I do not understand why Bitcoin going up one time, gold is going up as well. Next time, gold is golding back. Okay. S&P volatility index spiked means buy. Yep, that's true. When the volatility index spikes, yeah, you buy. Okay. Problem is, it could actually spike up again. It's the problem. We've got, guys, listen, it comes back here. It comes back here. Tell me why it ain't coming back there. True fear is there. Just look at this and monitor it. True fear is here. When did that happen? Carry trade unwind. They wet the beds. That's when you buy. That's what caused this bull market, right? When the VIX goes to 30, that's when you really buy. These little measly 21 and 20 levels, right? The rule is when it's high, you buy. So it means above 30, you buy. When it's below, when it's at 20, you hold or sell, get rid of it. Okay? That's the thinking on the VIX. But when it's at 20, like when it's high at the 20 levels, even though you should be selling, right? Technically, you run your shorts. Sorry, you buy from those levels, okay? Because the volatility index hasn't really been that volatile because we haven't had any real volatile events. That was a volatile event. Trump's tariffs ain't really being volatile because it's one of those will he or won't he stories. But true volatility will come in when the VIX hits 30. That is when you really will buy. And it doesn't matter where Bitcoin is. You buy when it's at 30. That's not financial advice. It's common sense. So just take that in your stride, ladies and gentlemen. Yep, I know he might be rolling back the tariffs tomorrow. Listen, if he rolls back the tariffs tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, first green vector candle that you see on the 15-minute time frame for Bitcoin, take advantage of it, ride it to the upside, happy days. All right? But he's starting to lose his credibility by doing this to the marketplace. He might say, yeah, we might roll back the tariffs until. What's next? Is he rolling back the tariffs now because possibly Bank of Japan are going to increase their interest rate, which will create another chaotic event and screw your dollar and send the yen up? That's why gold's climbing, man. They're preparing for the next hedge. The highest level that it went to was during COVID. Yeah, I know, James, but hey. Tino, is Bank of Japan can afford to increase the percentage if the unemployment came in higher? If the Bank of... Right, so let me explain something, right? Bank of Japan levels, right? This is what's going to constitute the reason for why they are... So their story right now is the speed that their economy is expanding at, all right? They saw good production, everything's working okay for them. And they need to then effectively do something about that. The wage inflation, that's what it was. Wage inflation was shooting up, so they need to do something about that, which is why they were going to look to increase the interest rates. Now, what you've got to consider is we're not in, should I say, Forex intervention environments, okay? So we don't have to worry about dollar yen because it's trading lower. So that's one reason why they may not increase the interest rates, all right? The only way that they could increase the interest rates is because of the yield right now that's being offered on their bonds. That is wild, okay? Anything above 1.1% screws them on their GDP, okay? So, and this is what they have to pay out, all right? Notice they're not going into the bonds because they want a higher yield, okay? Where do you think they're going? As the largest holder of 10-year notes on the US markets, they're making their money over there. So maybe the Bank of Japan are probably not going to say much about their interest rates because as long as the bonds market's going up and investors are seeking the haven of the Japanese yen and the haven of the 10-year bonds, they're making money, right? Biohacker, mad love to you, bro. We need the Cypriot pound back. You know. Mika regulation on Binance will trigger a pump in Bitcoin and ETH. There are not so many USDC pairs available in Binance other than USDT pairs, so I assume that will be the focus on large caps, most likely. For buying, with VIX climbing up, the logic is to wait for it to create a 15 to 30 minute PVC purple vector candle or red vector candle. And for the asset to buy, it has to form at the same time, BVC or GVC, right? Mathis, ask it in the Discord, please, so I can really respond to that, because I want to answer that question. Yeah, they were buying. Yeah, they're going into the yen. You've got to make Cyprus great again. Angelique, you've got to understand, right? If you're trying to use macroeconomics to understand what assets are going to do, okay? Your time frame is the monthly candle. That's what you're looking at, all right? These little price action movements, the daily time frame is just too small for you. But again, use this website. Use this. It shows you where the money's going. It shows you where it's going. Look at the Mexican dollar right now. You could never invest in the Mexican. It's horrible. Peso, sorry. It's not even that. You probably won't have seen me around, bro. So there is another thing with weak yen. They attract business to Japan. They have some raising unemployment. Have you ever heard of zombie companies? Okay. That's the problem with Japan. It has a lot of companies that are zombie companies, which means that they're operating, but there's nothing behind them. They've got no capital and they're just literally on their last legs. All right. So that's why you don't really hear about Japan doing that much stimulus, because they're made up of a lot of those companies. All right. Their economy is such. And those are a trigger to get them to cut interest, well, increase interest. Well, not increase interest rates, to not do anything about the interest rates, to be honest with you. Any other questions, guys? What the hell is Keon saying, man? He's talking shit. Tina, have you ever heard of Malaga coin? Bro, I made that coin. Tina, what's your opinion on trading gold during New York session? When should I look for entries? Which other asset pairs should I be monitoring? Oh, God. Tino, do you work with JP Morgan or similar organization as well? I'm just curious. Please don't mind. No, I don't work with JP Morgan at all. Tino, how long did it take for you to your masters in logic? I don't know. Market makers in Subla. Okay. Do you have a strategy for Bitcoin and the New York Open? Yes, there is one. It's the Brinksbox strategy and block trade strategy. First green vector candle above the 50 EMA. Yeah, guys, my eyes are fried. H-bar is always that perform. You know, anytime I look at H-bar, it's always performing, man. It just seems to be doing really well, H-bar. It does really well. So, yeah, that's one to watch. What's your opinion on... Oh, God. Is there a video regarding link between bonds and yields? I talk about it every day, man. Tick size on Bitcoin ranges from 2,547 and 4,185. Those are the tick sizes. So you know what BlackRock doing with the 50 EMA? BlackRock and the 50 EMA. BlackRock ain't watching 50 EMAs, man. BlackRock is not about 50 EMAs. Hey, Tina, what do you think of ADA? Not much, to be honest with you, bro. Sorry. I just seem to jump onto the bandwagon with that, and it's as a shit coin. Man, I've done this live too much. You know what? I've answered quite a few enough of your questions, guys. So mad love and respect for passing through. If anything made sense to you, hit the like button and subscribe if you did. I will be tuning into you all tomorrow. Let's see what Bank of Japan has to say about this madness. Please trade safely, guys. Mad love and respect. Peace. I need to stop this with my...